Hello, everyone, and welcome to an exciting new episode of Journeys Unpacked. Today, we're going to focus a lot on tourism as well as commerce. And I am so deeply excited to be joined by a friend and a person who I have long admired, His Excellency Issam Kazim, the CEO of the Dubai Corporation for Tourism and Commerce Marketing, part of Dubai Department of Economy and Tourism. Issam, welcome to Journeys Unpacked.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here today.
That's the pleasure's all mine.
So, if I just take a moment and I reflect upon Dubai, the Dubai story, we are at the top of the TripAdvisor's most visited countries, cities, alhamdulillah, for the third time.
Yes.
Third time
Yes.
in a row. I think I speak for everyone when we ask, how have we managed to accomplish this?
I can definitely tell you it wasn't by chance.
Nothing is.
No, to be honest, it's great to have that title and it's great to have that recognition onto Dubai, right? And I think when that recognition happens, usually it's like, oh, you guys did a great job. But I think it's the city that's doing a phenomenal job. We get the credit for it. And I think when we won it the first time, it was a pleasant surprise, right? But we knew what goes into it, right? There's a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, making sure that the quality of service, the quality of what people experience is at the highest level, as highest level as possible. And so that was an achievement, right?
Absolutely.
But then by the time we came around to round two and we won it for the second time, right? And we realized that only one other destination had ever done this before us, right? I think it was London. So it was a proud moment, right? The only destination since London to be able to win it back to back, you know? So what people don't realize is it's not a cumulative number of votes that go in here. So every time it's almost like a reset. So you need to build on from that point onwards. So obviously, to go for number 3 wasn't our focus. And honestly, I think by design, we never focus on accolades, right? We focus on doing the job for the right reason. And then the accolades come as a byproduct. So winning it for the third time and being the first and only destination so far to be able to do that back to back was a proud moment for us, right? And it was a first, and Dubai loves being the first in things. But alhamdulillah, that was amazing. So it's hats off to the entire industry for all of their effort, for all the hard work that they put into this.
Absolutely. I can hear each and every professor I've ever had saying it's much more difficult to keep an A than to earn
absolutely.
an A. And that's what this feels like, right?
Yes.
So congratulations to
Thank you
and to the entire Dubai tourism industry for managing this third time in a row and for the first time globally. It's phenomenal accomplishment. Let's talk a little bit about some of the tourists that come to Dubai.
Sure.
Paint a picture for us, right? I mean, who are they? Where are they coming from? What are they looking for as they come to Dubai? And has this changed over time?
Definitely has. So let's go back quickly to, I would say, the early days, right? So when we started off our strategy in 2013, 2014, at that point in time, we were building our data on where the tourists come from, what are they seeking when they come to Dubai or when they travel in general, get a better understanding of the lay of the land so that we can then map out a clear-cut strategy of the way forward. And what we did was, this was off the back of our announcement of 2012, which was the first time Dubai broke the 10 million visitor mark, right? So it was a monumental announcement and headline for us, but a good marker to start building our future. And when we started to conduct surveys, we conducted surveys on the ground here in town with people already here visiting as tourists. We also conducted interviews at the airport because we knew that Dubai has always been a transit point for East and West because, again, the success of Emirates Airlines, the connectivity of the luxury that Dubai airports affords a lot of the travelers. So it was a perfect catchment of audience, traveling audience right there at your doorstep. And then also looking at our key source markets. At that point in time, we had 6 or 7 traditionally strong key source markets for us, predominantly GCC, India, some of the near Asian markets, and some of the Western markets as well, mature traveling markets. Yeah. And that was it, right? And that's where the lion's share of the 10 million visitors were coming from. But we knew in order for us to expand, we needed a far more diversified market because, I mean, there's only so much we can keep on extracting from the same markets. So what we did was we mapped out clearly the strengths within these markets and made sure that we retain that and grow within that, but also charted out a growth strategy for ourselves with new markets as well, right? Some of the key findings were obviously things that we were aware of, that yes, Dubai's retail experience is great. Proximity, again, from a global perspective, on a map, it's actually quite accessible. The access points through the airports and the airlines is great. Then we also looked at in the markets that we were successful in, the ease of visa policies, visa on arrival and so on and so forth. That was a key, significant, I would say, opportunity. But then we also looked at things like Dubai being hot, can't do much about that one, but change perception so people realize that heat doesn't really impact the tourist, right? And the hotel services. So hotel, retail, all of these things were really highlighted as key points for us. So we knew the strengths that we had. We knew the opportunities that existed. And then what we also started to figure out is, where do people travel? And what is it that they seek? And these are the ones who haven't been to Dubai. And then we try to find the connection saying, okay, so there's a reason why Dubai should be on their list, right? Then we highlighted projects, working with the private sector, with the public sector, mapped that out clearly. So moving from 6 to 7 traditionally strong markets, today we're constantly, and by constantly I mean we have an always-on approach in predominantly most of our key source markets, but effectively for the year, we're active in 80 plus markets. 80 plus markets, right? So for us, it's a very big change, right? And we were one of the first to move very quickly from the traditional mediums of marketing to digital, right? Because 2 reasons. One, we wanted to be a lot smarter in the way that we spent. We wanted to have a clear indication on the ROI, right? And so we knew that digital was still new for the travel space. Most people weren't really within that space yet. FMCGs were leading, I would say, within that space. So we learned a lot from the best practices from them and applied it in tourism, right? And that evolution today has become the norm, right? And for us, we become smarter and better at developing the partnerships that are relevant for us to make sure that we're reaching our target audiences quite accurately, right? So demographics was one thing, but we quickly switched to typography as well. Because again, identifying by nationality is sometimes you miss a lot of opportunities. You find a lot more synergies in adventure travelers across the world because they will be a lot more similar, and targeting a product from Dubai and a time of Dubai to them with the right on the right platforms becomes much simpler, right? Or a little bit more better articulated, right? So those are the kind of things that we did. And today, alhamdulillah, I mean, if you look at it from a proximity perspective, we have 1/3 of the world's population within 4-hour radius. And 2/3 of the world's population within an 8-hour radius. So if we focus purely on that to get our, I would say, 80%, right? It becomes a great opportunity. And then we can work further afield, because further afield need a much bigger reason to come to Dubai, especially if they're coming for the first time. But the 4 key KPIs that we focus on from the strategy: increased number of visitors year on year. Alhamdulillah, we achieved that year on year. We talked about increasing length of stay, right? Because we want to change perception that Dubai is not just a transit opportunity. Even though those who haven't come to Dubai, I will take that transit opportunity. And then change to stopover, and then change to a point-to-point destination. Increase spend within the city. The impact to the GDP, again, the economic impact from tourism, that becomes important. And 4th, repeat visitation. And today, alhamdulillah, out of our own personal record of last year, of 17.15 million tourists in 2023, I'm talking about now, 25% roughly are repeat visitors. And by repeat, I mean within 12 months.
That's remarkable. What brings them back?
Again, going back to the reason why we win the awards, I would say it's a lot of people assume that Dubai is a small destination by size, right? It's only when they visit Dubai that they realize there's so much to do. Well, alhamdulillah, every time they go back, they realize I didn't get enough of it, or I didn't see everything that I want to see, right? So they come back again and again. The level of service, the quality of service, right? People had this perception or this misconception that Dubai is expensive. Dubai is as affordable as you want it to be, or as expensive as you want it to be, right?
That's true.
And we do not believe in one size fits all, and the market has really been developed organically in that way as well, right? So for the thrill seekers, adventure seekers, you've got something. For the ones who want to come back for rest, relaxation, and really high-end, top-end luxury, you've got that. But the best way to describe Dubai today is affordable luxury, because even when we launched our strategy, we talked about increasing number of visitors to Dubai. We knew that not everybody wants to stay in 5-star hotels. We knew that there will be a lot, even the ones who are willing to spend, they might not want to spend on expensive hotels. They'd rather spend in the city. So we put an incentive out, encouraging more investment in 3- and 4-star sector hotels. So the private sector invested in the 3- and 4-star sector hotels, but we made it very clear, because this was the message directly from the leadership, that yes, we want people to afford to come to Dubai. However, it shouldn't be at the cost of their experience. even though it's an affordable hotel, the experience should still live up to Dubai standards. So that's why I can confidently say today that Dubai's 3-star hotels can compete with most 5-star hotels around the world.
I cannot really disagree with that. Yeah, no, but that's absolutely true. And look, a lot of what you say resonates so well, right? I mean, we see a lot of that not only in our data, but I think a lot of us even in our day-to-day experiences, right? From 10 years ago where people would barely come to visit, right? And to be like, oh, Dubai, do we, it's interesting. Maybe we'll stop over to now.
At some point. Yeah,
At some point,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. To now where people have like 5 years ago visited Dubai.
Yes.
To now where people want to visit the second time, the third time.
Yes.
And they talk to each other and they say, hey, can we do this? Can we do that?
You know what was it? You know what was the, I would say the transition point for most of them?
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes.
Because when Dubai went into lockdown,
Yeah.
right, a lot of the, I would say, skeptical or the naysayers, right, didn't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
So they found themselves locked up at their homes or in their apartments, right? And the frustration was starting to build up.
Yeah.
And they saw that Dubai was one of the first, very decisive, one of the first to shut down, right,
Yes.
with very, very strict curfews.
Yes.
And the first to open up.
Yeah.
And when they started seeing people out and about traveling, I mean, social media, alhamdulillah, and it helped us quite a bit get the message out there.
Yes.
They said, you know what? We have, for example, younger families or adult family members.
Yeah.
We want to actually maybe come to Dubai. So at least, and the weather was getting better now. So we're moving into the better time of
Exactly.
the year. It was getting very cold and gray in some parts of the world.
Yeah.
So they wanted the Dubai climate, right?
Yeah.
So, we assisted them to come into Dubai and experience it for the first time.
Yeah.
Now, some of these people have been to Dubai before for business and they love Dubai,
Yeah.
right? They would come in on a transit kind of a journey,
Yeah.
2-3 days, conduct their
Yeah.
business, go back again, right? So when these guys who moved with their young family to Dubai started to see a completely different side of it, because now they're becoming residents more or less for those
Yeah.
2-3 months.
Yeah.
It changed their perception. Even though they were still advocates
Yeah.
for business and for specific purposes,
Yeah.
now they became advocates of a different kind. So one of these gentlemen called his father, who is now not as active, but a chairman of the company, to come to Dubai and maybe, relocate for a few months. The father said, I know Dubai very well. I'm happy here. He said, just come to Dubai. And convinced the father eventually to move to
Yeah.
Dubai. And when the father did, the father's not left since then. And he's become a massive advocate because for
Okay.
him,
Yeah.
he loves this weather. He might travel out
Yeah.
during summer. He might travel out to go for a ski trip here and there. But
Yeah.
Dubai is home now, right?
Yeah.
And there are so many of these stories
Yeah.
where you have more and more people relocating for their families
Yeah.
because of the safety and security,
Absolutely.
relocating because of the lifestyle, the standards of the quality of living, the quality of service that you get in Dubai, right?
Yeah.
And it is in essence today, when you
Yeah.
compare it to anywhere else in the world, it's true value for money. You get what you pay for.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, spot on, right? There's the service element, there's the safety element,
Yes.
there's the availability element.
100%.
Absolutely. But there's also the infrastructure element,
Definitely.
right? And I think few places have gotten everything lined up the way this part of the world has gotten it lined
Yes.
up. And specifically, if we talk about the infrastructure, and of course, I have to ask you this, right? How do you see payments playing into that?
Oh, massively. Massively. Because look, again, when it comes to safety, security,
Yeah.
traveling across borders, making sure that you're in one country or another. I mean, those days are gone. I mean, I remember traveling with my dad when everything was like traveler's checks
Yeah.
and things like that. It was a completely different world, right?
Yes.
Now, just the ease of being able to travel. You have an infrastructure over here that's built on a good banking system. You've got payment gateways across the board. People, the digital wallet has become like the norm, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that the fact that Dubai's infrastructure is built to support that, I mean, it aids the travel trade in a much bigger way, including, so for me, when I talk about travel, by the way, it's not just leisure travel. We're talking about business travel as well, right?
Yeah.
The fact that everything is so well connected over here, the infrastructure is built so well
Yeah.
over here, it just supports itself seamlessly, right? And that seamlessness just takes away another thing that we take for granted, right? It's only when you go to places where that infrastructure does not exist that you learn to appreciate what you had, right? And I think that's why Dubai becomes a no-brainer for many visitors.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I can't count the number of times where I'm not in the Bay and I walk out with just my phone and I want to go buy something.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
I can't.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it's so frustrating as a tourist, right? To not be able to get something because you don't have the right credentials,
absolutely.
perhaps. and we see this time and time again, that the tourists, well, first of all, not only the residents, but also the tourists that come to the country are incredibly advanced in the use of digital payments.
Yes, absolutely. And look, if you look at it across the world, right? So, for example, there's some countries that are way more advanced than others. And I remember, for example, when I went to China,
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised to see that even grandmothers, right?
Yeah.
They are so savvy with their phones and their smartphones that they can transact everything that they need for their
Yes.
day to day
Yeah.
very seamlessly on their smartphones. And I think that kind of like opened up our eyes and said, like, look, it's not just for our communities or let's say certain parts of the world. It actually is a lot more global than we would assume.
Yeah.
And I think having the means and having the infrastructure, having
Yeah.
the platforms to be able to serve all of this in a much better way. Because for
Yeah.
us, it's become our day-to-day now, right? All of the government
Exactly.
applications can actually be more or less be done online and digitally, right? And I think Dubai was designed and built on that, on that mantra, I would say, because even the leadership were very clear, saying that if you're in the public sector, like
Yeah.
as we are, right? You're a
Yeah.
public servant in essence, right? So you need to be there to serve the public when they need you, not during your working hours, right? So the only way to be truly
Yes.
available 24/7
Yeah.
was to quickly move as many of these services as possible to online platforms and digital apps
Yeah.
to be able to do that at push of a button. So that means that the entire city
Yeah.
had to get themselves up and ready to be able to cater that demand. And today, we're benefiting from that from all the people traveling into Dubai as well.
Absolutely. And I think there are few places that really and truly showcase the depth and the breadth of what this could look like, as does this place, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And one of the reasons that I think our partnership has worked so well is I again, if I think of us as Visa, right, 200 countries, geographies, territories
Yeah.
across the world, they all come visit Dubai.
Yes,
We operate 24/7. So does Dubai.
exactly.
Safety, security is paramount for us. So is Dubai.
Yeah.
Right? So there are so many, it's such a natural synergy.
And see, the 200 nationalities, for us,
Yeah.
we proudly say that Dubai, 90% of our population is made up of roughly 200 nationalities.
There we go. Yes.
So there are a lot of synergies in that sense, absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think more and more to come as more and more international
Exactly.
tourists continue to whip out more and more digital payment methods, right?
Yes.
We all need to stay connected. No, it's exciting times.
Alhamdulillah, yeah. I mean, we're looking forward to it. I mean, look, are there challenges? Yes, but for us, we're always designed to look at the opportunities out of it, right?
Absolutely.
And again, if you go back to the times of COVID, the agility
Yeah.
that everyone in Dubai, right? I'm not talking about just the public sector, the private and public sector live by, right? Came to fruition during that period of time because it wasn't a test scenario anymore, right? It was real life. And how
Exactly.
quickly we managed to move
Yeah.
indoor, strict curfews to quickly get the whole city prepared for opening up.
Yeah.
Eventually piloting all of these new strict methods in a, I would say, confined environment.
Yeah.
And that was by May. So March we shut down. May we were like piloting all of these things with the local domestic tourism and everything else. And by June we opened up and never looked back since then, right? And till today, alhamdulillah, since that moment onwards, we've been benefiting and reaping in the benefits of those decisions.
Alhamdulillah. Absolutely. But this is the history.
Yes,
Dubai never rests.
absolutely not.
There is a very, very ambitious economic agenda, D33, that is ahead of us.
Yes.
How does tourism and commerce play into that?
Initially, we were the Department of Tourism and Commerce Marketing, right? And we were focused purely on just that. And I said our
Yeah.
KPIs were on those four bases. But since 2022, we merged the Department of Economy with the Department of Tourism, right?
Yes.
And obviously, that wasn't done by chance. It was
Yeah.
it was done by design. It was chosen that that's the right time now that we've managed to really create an ecosystem and an environment for one strand of the economic industry in a way that it just made sense to bring the two together and really map that out across every single, I would say, pillar within the economy as well. And I think now today, with that change and that shift that's happening, we've added another couple of KPIs, right? So when we opened up, as I said, we started to attract a lot of people to come to Dubai to maybe relocate for a short period of time. A lot of them then moved and their physical office, their home office, the high net worth individuals, with their businesses and everything else in its entirety moved to
Right.
Dubai. So today we've actually said, with the rolling out of new visas, right, golden visas, the green visas, the remote working visas, and so on and so forth, we want Dubai to become the best city to work in and the best city to live in as well. So those are the two additional KPIs to the tourism related one as well.
Okay,
So we've literally
interesting.
closed the ecosystem.
Yes.
So if people have never been to Dubai,
Yeah.
let's leverage that transit opportunity at
Yeah.
the doorstep, bring them in.
Yeah.
Let them see and enjoy what they see, and then eventually come back as a stopover destination.
Yeah.
Eventually that stopover becomes a point-to-point mono destination.
Yeah.
And eventually they love what they see and they repeat.
Yeah.
And then they say, why would I want to go anywhere else? And they reside, right? So we now really close the loop completely, right? So I think from that perspective, in a nutshell, it kind of shows you why the D33 agenda and sitting firmly within what we do is quite important. Because again, from an ecosystem perspective, we managed to bring the stakeholders around the table, from the retail side, from the hospitality side, and everything else. Today, we're talking about manufacturing. We're talking about logistics. We're talking about retail gastronomy. We're talking about so many different elements of the business. When you talk about fintech, you're talking about AI. You're talking about so much. Yeah. It's not just to serve our needs. For example, if you look at Emirates Airlines today, right, and the growth that Emirates Airlines and Fly Dubai have seen, many cities around the world consider Emirates Airlines as their local carrier, because of the connectivity that it provides, and it kind of like eases the pressure off of their travel needs as well, right?
Yeah.
When you look at the logistics perspective, right? DP World, the role that they've been playing, Sky Cargo from Emirates as well, right? All of them, it's literally leveraging Dubai's position and the responsibility Dubai feels because of its geographical location to connect the world together via Dubai, right? So all of that has already aided itself perfectly. So today when we've mapped out, like we did for strategy back in the days, a 10-year plan, D33 serves another, almost like a marker for us as to what is it that we're focusing towards, so that the industry continues to move that way. Dubai has always worked with the private sector mentality, and that's the reason why more and more people are moving over here. The ones who have already been here are constantly investing more and more in Dubai because they can see that energy. They can see that vision does not stop. They see a city that genuinely does not sleep, right? And And any business owner or any individual is 1 or 2 phone calls away from the key decision maker of whatever sector, whatever industry, whatever need they have, right? And that culture is intrinsic in everything that we do. And that's why D33 is one mark again for us. 2040 vision for the urban planning is another one for us. The UAE Centennial Plan of 2071 is another one for us as well.
Lots and lots of markers coming up. Absolutely. In this roadmap of markers, we have another very interesting, very unique, very new asset piece of infrastructure that is opening up. The new airport.
Yes.
Share with us a little bit how you're thinking about that.
I mean, the airport is something that has always been part of the plan, right? And we work, again, very closely with the airport team as by nature of our role within tourism. And I know that it was something that they were waiting for the right time for it, right? There was an organic growth that Dubai, the city, was seeing. We were constantly becoming the busiest international airport in the world. And when the time was right, they made that announcement to show that, you know what, this is not where it stops for us, right? And as our needs are growing, so is the global travel trend that we're seeing around the world, not just into Dubai as well. So again, Dubai putting on the hat of the connector, announced the launch of the Al Maktoum Airport at DWC, the Dubai World Central. And in its first phase, the plan is going to reach about, or cater to, 120 to 150 million passengers, right, traveling via the airport. And with a future plan, because it's built in a modular fashion and to grow organically as needed, it can cater up to 220 to 250 million passengers if the time comes for that, right?
And this is just to put it in context, the airport today is about
around
90.
Yes, roughly 90 million, right? From international tourism perspective. So it really moves Dubai to a completely different scale, right? For me, obviously, it's quite tempting because, I mean, more people at our doorsteps, right, to attract in. But I think, again, it's just a significant move. And everything that Dubai has done so far, right, is moved in that same direction. And I'm pretty sure people are aware where in the past, they'd be like, okay, why are we building this? Why are we building that? And things were done in the past, to be honest with you, to make an announcement. Because Dubai is, if you look at it from a global map, it's just a small dot, right? So we needed to make some noise to grab the attention. But now that we have the attention, you will see the stuff that we have built over time, right, has been very, very different. You know, from the time that we won the bid for the IMF in 2003, you know, people were questioning, Dubai, really? Will they be able to manage the logistics, the security necessities, and so on and so forth? And to be honest with you, not only did we deliver it, in their own admission, it was done extremely well, maybe one of the best that they'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Off the back of that, we've seen year-on-year growth in terms of the exhibitions and events and conferences that we're winning, right? And we're constantly bidding for hundreds every single year, right? And winning hundreds at the same time. And then we had the Expo, World Expo. Then we had COP28. So there's constantly something that's coming up. So with that necessity, today the airport also is not done to make an announcement of it's going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest airport in the world. It's truly to serve an organic need and purpose that Dubai has, and to know that we're committed to this growth that we've already charted for ourselves.
Very cool. Yeah, it's, I mean, the size and the scale of the airport is just amazing. And I think it's going to be one of the most interesting airports in the world
we're
as
looking
we
forward
go.
to it.
We are. We are all looking forward to it. So great plans, great ambitions. I mean, clearly no plans to slow down. In fact, to double down, to speed up,
Yes.
to continue the expansion. I think the question is how? Right? How is it that we're going to continue this, and what are we going to provide? What is Dubai going to provide that is going to be different, or maybe perhaps more value accretive than what we've already seen in the past?
I think, look, there's a few things, right? I mean, if you look at it from a D33 perspective, right, across the economy, what Dubai has been good at is, and I say that this goes back to the blessing of not having natural resources. And I always say that because it really made us work hard and think outside the box and be innovative and imaginative in the way that we can do things. And again, a lot of things that we live by are truly words from Sheikh Mohammed himself, where we say, sky is only the beginning as far as we're concerned, right? And the world impossible does not exist. In anything that we do, truly and genuinely, if you see anyone that within DET will tell you the same thing. For us, a call late at night, on a weekend, or on a holiday, anyone who gets a call will make sure that they're catering to it and they see it all the way to fruition. Because we're not doing it just to tick a box or to achieve something work-related, but it's more like we're looking after people who are guests in our house or visiting us, right? So with that in mind, the public-private sector partnership is literally the backbone of Dubai's success, and will continue, in fact, be more important as we go forward as well, right? Because today when we sit with our partners, and you would know this very well firsthand, where we are literally open book, right? We sit with them, listen to them, understand what's going well, so that we make sure that we're not stopping at that. What could be done better? What are the things that are missing that maybe there's, and it's the government's humbleness to understand that we're not perfect, right? And never to believe that we're perfect, right? So we can always understand we could be better. If we are achieving targets today, we have, let's say, markers ahead of us or benchmarks that we want to achieve. When we first started the journey, we looked at, like you can see, the usual suspect, New York, London, Paris, Tokyo, as the big cities, Singapore, Hong Kong, and what they were doing. And we were learning from the best, right? We were trying to say, like, okay, how can we become as good as they are?
Yeah.
And today, if there are areas that we are, let's say we are the best, now we look at how could we be better than we were yesterday, right? And I think that truly exists as second nature to us, right? And I think that, from a government perspective, means we need to continue to do more of the same. We need to continue to listen. More of the same meaning to evolve those questions, to constantly ask, to constantly be there with our partners, to understand, are you doing better? Could you be doing better? You know what I mean? Even if you're doing great, could it be better? And how could it be better? And what can we do, right? If there are investment opportunities, to sit with them and say, like, look, this is what Dubai is planning on investing in, right? Or focusing their efforts towards. What do you guys think? And if they're aligned, how can we work with you to make sure that you guys get a piece of this pie as well, right? I think that needs to continue to happen. And we cannot afford to rest on our laurels, because if you have someone doing something really well, it is almost like a benchmark for others or a blueprint for others to follow.
Yeah.
So if you rest, eventually they'll catch up or they'll exceed. So you need to constantly keep on evolving and constantly keep on pushing forward as well.
So lots of new and exciting things to come. Let's keep watching this space. Excellent. Let's bring it a little bit closer to home. Let's look at 2025. What are you most excited about in 2025?
There's a lot that's happening. I mean, if you look at new openings and old openings and redoing certain things. So, for example, Fahedi, the Fahedi Fort, which was a key attraction for a lot of tourists, it was shut down to be renovated and the experience to be enhanced and so on and so forth. So that's coming online. very soon. Or you've got Marsa Dubai, another amazing 5-star property that's coming in within the Jumeirah set of properties as well. Obviously built around Wild Wadi, which in itself is a key attraction for a lot of families. Mashallah, that's going to be an amazing opportunity. And what we've seen for the past few years, since the launch of the Michelin Guide, we've finally gotten a chance to bring the focus and attention of the world to Dubai's gastronomy scene, right? Us living here, we are familiar with the scene. As I said, we have 200 nationalities, and that's celebrated through the food. You really can find authentic food from every single region in the world in Dubai, right? And across all the different budgets as well, right? So I think there'll be a lot of that's happening. That'll continue to happen as well. Because again, we're not importers of restaurants as much anymore. Yes, we do, because now Dubai has become a stage for a lot of them to have a property here.
Yes.
A lot of them are using Dubai as a platform for them to maybe relaunch their brand here and then take it global from here.
Yeah.
But what I'm very proud of is homegrown concepts going global from Dubai today, right?
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things that again, Dubai has evolved from being a new destination, a young city, to a mature and vibrant city that people not just seek to visit and experience and have a selfie in front of one of their landmarks, but in fact to relocate, establish themselves and grow out of as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a direct, very clear movement from, yes, we have the best of the world, to we have something that's a lot more authentic and a lot more homegrown.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's a journey, right? It takes time. But I think the way and the speed at which Dubai has gone through that journey has been really and truly remarkable.
Yeah, and I think what's unique as well is, to your point, when we look at something that's culturally different, right? Again, Dubai's uniqueness is in those nationalities that I mentioned, right? So you've got the Fahedi districts, you've got the deep-rooted experiences of, let's say, excursions within the desert as well, the traditional experiences that you can have within that as well, with the falconing and the camel racing and camel riding and the horses and all of the equestrian sites, everything that you need to do from that perspective. But what's unique about it is that with these nationalities that have relocated to Dubai, set up shop in Dubai, set up their home and livelihood in Dubai, and in some cases, second, third generation in Dubai, right? They haven't necessarily adapted a new personality, new character, right? They're Dubaians just as much as anyone else, but they've still retained their true identity, right? Their cultural identity. In fact, they celebrate that identity amongst one another.
Yes, they do.
And that's, I think, what separates Dubai from anywhere else in the world, right? And this is one of the key reasons why a lot of families with young children relocate, because they know that their kids graduating in schools here truly become global citizens when they leave.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's what's important, and that's what's unique.
It's less about being a melting pot, it's more about being a mosaic.
100%.
So, absolutely. Now we're going to switch over to the rapid fire, or my favorite part of the discussion, conversation. I don't know, that depends. No, not at all. Not at all. It's just to get some of your thoughts around what comes to mind. Okay. So, first thing that comes to mind when I ask the following questions. One word that best describes Dubai.
There's several one words. I would say home.
Yeah, safe.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, welcoming. Absolutely. So many one words. The best season to visit Dubai in?
Honestly, I think one of the I would say, experienced, right? Parts of the calendar year is probably Ramadan in Dubai.
That sounds wonderful. Okay. Your favorite local brand or designer?
Not to do any injustice to anyone, but I would say, since food has been something that's been close to my heart for quite some time, I would say I'm very proud of the gastronomy scene in Dubai, right? And if you look at homegrown concepts, whether it's, let's say, Beit Maryam or Sufrat Maryam, right? Or you look at something like Urfeli Brothers, right? There are these hidden gems, three fills, right? There are a lot of these hidden gems in Dubai or these hidden stories of beautiful restaurants, concepts, unique things that, again, not the masses would associate with Dubai, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's very important to highlight those. And I'll be hard set to decide which one amongst those would be a brand that I favorite, because depending on my mood, they would be my favorite for that moment, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. And you're so right? If you put this together with what we talked about earlier, Dubai being an exporter, you
Yes.
see this time and again.
Exactly.
Right? You go to other countries, then you go to the 5-star hotels, and they have restaurants, and they say proudly, we are a Dubai concept.
100%.
Right?
Yes.
All the way from a 5-star restaurant to, we were in Christmas markets a couple of weeks ago, and you see booths in Christmas markets showcasing products that say Dubai products.
Yeah, well, so Dubai chocolate is another one that's
That's
become,
another one.
Yes.
Absolutely. So it's just amazing the breadth of these homegrown success stories
Exactly.
that are taking the world by storm. It's really quite remarkable.
Exactly.
One unexpected fact that perhaps many of the visitors into Dubai may not be aware of.
Sure. An interesting fact about Dubai, which most people still aren't necessarily aware of, and which we take for granted as well. Hatta. So I still remember when we actually launched the first, I would say, campaign around promoting Hatta.
Yeah.
And I was at a world travel exhibition in London.
Okay.
And the team had already shown the campaign video to the leadership, and the leadership loved what they saw. And I said, you know what, can I showcase it here? I taken it with me. They said, yeah, of course we can. So and I put it up on all the screens on the stands, and everyone came around our stand, and they were scratching their head thinking, why are we showing mountains in Dubai? Right? It's not like skyscrapers or beaches and stuff. So I was telling them, guys, this is Dubai. And they could not understand, they could not comprehend that Dubai had a Rocky Mountain landscape.
That's right.
And I had to reemphasize, like, by the way, guys, just FYI, to be clear, it's not man-made, by the way. It's real. They're authentic mountains and stuff. And I think that part of Dubai is definitely something that even some of the new residents aren't necessarily aware of, right? Even though there's so much activity happening over there, and there's so many campaigns, and it's packed and it's busy, still you'll be surprised that there are many people still not aware that Hatta is maybe an hour away.
If even,
and it's a completely different climate, a completely different landscape to what the city has to offer.
That is absolutely true. So mountains in Dubai, they're real, not
Yes,
man-made.
exactly.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you here today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, Journeys Unpacked. Bye-bye.